Here we start our first presentation on the subject establishment of the HR department and its integration into Swedish legislation. If you are going to establish HR department or you are going to be HR manager, HR director in any organization, you have to do the first. Define the goals and structure of the HR department. It has to be consist from the next subdivisions: employee relations and legal matters, recruitment and hiring, training and development, performance management and performance appraisal, compensation and benefits. In Sweden, labor laws and regulation are regulated in various legal texts and documents. Here I will show you some key resources where you can read about Swedish labor laws. It is very important to rely on all legal texts and documents. So there is no any one sources you can read, you can take into account when you sign employment agreement or you create conditions for employees. If you are talking about working time directive, the equality directive and data protection directive, we have to rely on European Union legislation because it's have a significant influence on Swedish labor law and it's integrated into Swedish national law. So, in Swedish national laws, major acts include the Employment Protection Act, the LAS, the Work Environment Act, Working Hours, and the Discrimination Act. These laws regulate various aspects of employment relations, including the rights and obligations of employers and employers' working conditions, workplace safety, and measures against discrimination. Another important part is collective bargaining agreement. So this plays essential component of the Swedish labor market. This agreement set terms and conditions of employment for various sectors and companies. They cover risks such as wage, working hours, and conditions of employment and are legally binding for all parties involved. So the another part is case law. Judicial decision plays a crucial role in the interpretation and application of employment laws in Sweden. So these sources provide a comprehensive legal framework that protects employer rights and ensures fair working conditions. So it is mandatory for you to rely on these texts and documents when you establish procedures, handbooks, employment agreement, and all other procedures. So also in Sweden, very important part is Swedish Code of Statutes. Um, this is official repository for all Swedish laws, including labor laws. You can search for specific statutes related to um, employment and labor issues. So we talk about Employment Protection Act, LAS, LAGOM, and Standing Quid. This act regulates the terms and conditions for termination of employment notice periods and job security. So also, yeah, I want to go back. As you see, collective bargaining agreements and Employment Protection Act. Sometimes your employment bargaining agreements may consist some rules, but in your working environment, in the employment agreement, you can write something different conditions regarding the termination or changing of some employees' conditions. So you have to be very careful in this case and compare all information because I had issue when as per agreement, employer, it was mandatory for employer to notify employer in advance 2 weeks, 14 days. But in collective bargaining agreements, it was indicated 1 month. So the Collective Bargaining Agreements Act was taken into consideration. So another part is a Swedish National Mediation Office provides information and resources on collective agreements and mediation services. So Swedish Trade Union Confederation and other units. This part, the sites often provide information on collective agreements, labor rights, and related legal information. So I want to underline for employers to work with union is not something mandatory, but it is advisable. Because if you have any case, for example, you have employees who is registered in any union, and you have some issue, uh, and you see you are going to court, you're going to have a court case. So in this case, if you are a union member, not only union doesn't protect only employer, it also protects employer. So as employer has their own legal advisors protecting their rights, the same company has ombudsman or legal advisors who protect company's rights. So here I want to show some articles from the uh, legislation I mentioned above. So if you have to study and adhere to key laws, for example, if you are talking about Work Environment Act, Arbeidsmiljølagen, you have to read 1977, 1160, ensure a safe and healthy work environment. So rely on this information. You have to create your healthy work environment in your organization. For if we are talking Employment Protection Act, Lagom Standing Quit, last 1982-80. This article show how to regulate termination and protect employer rights. In Discrimination Act 2008, 567, how to prohibit discrimination in the workplace. So all these articles will show you how regulate it in your organization. Working hours, how 1982 673. So here you will find information about regulation, working hours, and rest periods. So got co-determination in the workplace. So engage with the unions and collective agreements. Also, European Union directives comply with European directives such as working time directives and the equality directives. So it is very important for you rely on these articles, develop your policies, procedures, handbooks according to Swedish labor laws, anti-bullying and harassment. So you have to be informed, ensure all your employees aware about and follow these policies. Your managers also should be trained, must be trained, because your company managers manage employees. They man they manage people on behalf of employers. So if you will have any problem with any employer will be responsible. So it's important when managers are properly trained. You have to conduct training session on legal issues, ethics, and company policies. You have to train your HR staff on the correct application of laws and directives. So also you can find all this information on websites. It is not something hidden. Uh, when you fill this on any engine motor, if you write any name of the article, you will find it directly on in the internet. So you don't, I don't need to send you these documents separately. So in the website of Minister of Justice, you can find information on legal reforms and updates. On Swedish Labor Court, Arbetsdomstolen, you can find judgments and decisions that interpret labor laws and can provide insight into how laws are applied. Also, government publications. If you are not fluent in Swedish language, you can find them in English, or you can translate by yourself. The second step is practical integration. You have to ensure that compliance, your all procedures compliance with the Work Environment Act, regularly inspect and improve workplace conditions, implement HR information system, introduce system for personal management such as time tracking, complaint processing, and performance evaluation and management. So it's important to establish proper recruitment and hiring process, effective process for recruiting and hiring in compliance with Swedish labor law. We will talk about later. You have to evaluate and develop staff. They have to understand what they have to do, how they have to do it. So regularly conduct performance review and develop program for employee growth because it's something as per legislation. You have to continuous monitoring and updating. Continuously track change in Swedish and European labor laws. As we know, at least one time per year, legislation change, and we need to be in trend to be aware about. Accordingly, we have to update policies and procedures with the new laws and requirements. And it is important conduct regular audits and prepare reports and legal compliance.